Hey everybody, welcome back for another round of Charlie Brown Politics. Of course, I'm Charles Brown, the host of the show. Now, the IDF is back at it again. They're out here attacking more hospitals, attacking more places that people need, more institutions that the population of Gaza rely upon. Just like the Al Shifa hospital that we covered on this channel a few weeks back, they are using bullshit excuses like Hamas for them to go in and bombard these hospitals, these places that people that are sick, people that are taking refuge, people that cannot move physically, are taking refuge and seeking for shelter. They're using this excuse to go in there and drop bombs and raid these hospitals. So this specific hospital is going to be a Indonesian hospital that is significant because it's one of the last hospitals left in Northern Gaza, or that was treating people and had the capabilities of treating people. But since the IDF has gone in, those capabilities have extremely gone down. The IDF has targeted their generators and taken their supplies and pretty much destroyed it. So I have an article from Al Jazeera we're going to get into that is going to give a reenactment or eyewitness testimony of what happened when the IDF came through and attacked this hospital. So without further ado, let me pull this article up. Here we go. And so, like I said, Al Jazeera. Gaza's Indonesian hospital in ruins after Israeli raid. Days-long siege. Nurses recall horror of Israeli raid interrogations, saying troops beat and humiliated them as they refused to leave patients behind. And so here we have a little bit of a picture of the hospital. The medical equipment just kind of scattered around. And so here we go. The Indonesian hospital, one of Northern Gaza's largest healthcare facilities, was severely damaged in Israeli attacks that it may never be open again. Excuse me, let me read that one more time. Was so severely damaged in Israeli attacks that it may never be open again. On Saturday, Al Bursh, Director General of the Ministry of Health in Gaza, told Al Jazeera, "We are in shock and horrified at the scenes left by Israeli forces at the Indonesian hospital. Israeli tanks and snipers had laid siege to the hospital in Bet Lahia for days before targeting its main generator and raiding it in the early hours of Friday, shortly before the 4-day truce between Israel and Hamas came into effect." The ministry said on Friday that the hospital was undergoing heavy bombardment by the Israeli army and that there was fear for the lives of 200 injured people and medical staff. It added that intense Israeli fire killed a wounded woman, and injured at least 3 others. Now, this is where we're going to pause for the first time. Like I said previously, they are targeting the generators. They are bombing multiple levels to this hospital. If this was just about Hamas, they could just send ground troops in there. They know that people are taking refuge in this hospital. They know that there's people that can't move. But this is more than that. They are not trying to just fight Hamas, and I'll put that in quotes, okay? This is about attacking the institutions that the population of Gaza rely upon, okay? As the article said, there are people that go to the hospital to take refuge there that can't move, that are sick. There are children there. And this is a place that these people have been relying upon. The IDF and Israel know this, and they're systematically targeting these places to make sure people continue to leave, that they don't have a place to seek refuge, because it's not about fighting Hamas. Hamas is just an excuse that they're using. They want to ethnically cleanse all of Palestine, okay? They want to do that with the West Bank as well. So that's what I just want to point out. Is they're targeting their major institutions. They're targeting their cultural leaders. They just killed the voice of Gaza, the journalist who was a teacher and academic that had a personal relationship with a lot of people that we on the left look up to, like Max Blumenthal and Katie Halper and Aaron Matei. So these are just pieces to the pile of evidence that lead up to this is way more than about Hamas. It's about destroying their culture, their institutions, and ethnically cleanse these people out of Palestine. So let's continue with this article, shall we? Now, in ruins, the hospital is overwhelmed with large numbers of wounded people amid severe shortages in medical supplies. Corridors have become wards, and surgeons operate on the floor, said Al Jazeera's Osama bin Havid, who gained access to the facility. Outside the hospital building, the stench of death forces people to cover their nose. As charred and decomposing bodies, children among them, pile up in corners. No burials have taken place for days because Israeli snipers target anyone who ventures out to dig a grave. Let's reread that to reiterate this point, because it's horrific. Outside the hospital building, the stench of the death forces people to cover their nose. As charred and decomposing bodies, children among them, pile up in corners. No burials have taken place for days because Israeli snipers target anyone who ventured out to dig a grave. So let's pause for one more second here. Like I said before, this is more than Hamas. This is a psychological warfare against the actual people of Gaza. When you target their institutions that they rely upon, when you target their cultural leaders, when you target them for trying to bury their dead, that's a mental war game. That's a psychological warfare. And we have to keep calling it out. It's sick. I don't know what else to say. It's sick. Let's keep going. Reporting from the hospital after the raid, Anas al-Sharif, one of the few remaining journalists in Northern Gaza, said the occupation forces have damaged and destroyed large parts of the hospital. There has been major destruction here. Even equipment and supplies have been ruined by the occupation forces. Recalling the horror of the Israeli raid and interrogation of hospital staff, a nurse told Al Jazeera, when they stormed the hospital, we told them we are nurses, civilians, and that we have children and sick people here. They interrogated me and 3 other nurses. They asked about the resistance and if there were any fighters here. They asked about the entrances and exits of the hospital. We were all panicking. We were very scared. Another nurse recalled how Israeli forces targeted the building's 4th floor with a missile and cut off electricity and solar power. We had 25 people with broken pelvises who couldn't be moved. They blew up the entrance. They shot the patients inside. They searched us one by one and scanned everyone's faces. I told them I'm a nurse. The male nurse from the emergency department told Al Jazeera. They took me to this corner and beat me and asked me many questions about the hospital, the Israeli captives, and hostages. Whether I know anything about them. Every question was accompanied by a slap. After they left, we could have gone, but I promised I would never leave my patients alone and that I would be the last one to leave this hospital," said the nurse. So let's recap. That was some eyewitness testimony on how the IDF treated the population, the civilians of Gaza, people that were sick, children, and the frontline workers trying to treat the people of Gaza. Just let that sink in for a moment. There's a little bit more here, guys. Let's just keep going. Hundreds of displaced people had previously sought asylum at the hospital, which is also close to the Jabalia refugee camp. With the facility out of service for weeks and the damage severe, it remains unclear if it will ever reopen. I believe that's the end of the article. So, there's a video here that it's pretty much going to say what the article says, but it'll just kind of give you a visual of what's going on. So,
main entrance to the Indonesian hospital, one of Northern Gaza's largest healthcare facilities, now in ruins. Overwhelmed with the number of wounded and facing a severe shortage of medical supplies, corridors have become wards and surgeons operate on the floor. After Israeli tanks and snipers laid siege to the hospital for days, troops raided it in the early hours of Friday morning before the ceasefire came into effect.
We told them we are civilians, we have children and sick people, we are nurses when they stormed the hospital through the main entrance. They interrogated me with 3 other nurses. They asked me if there is anyone from the resistance here. They asked me about the entrances and the exits of the hospital. We were all panicking and very scared.
and so, yeah, that kind of just gives you a visual of, what's going on, what it looks like there. What else can we say about this, guys? We have to keep speaking out. We have to keep echoing this story and what is happening to the people of Gaza. Like I said, the IDF is targeting hospitals. They just killed the voice of Gaza. Halarir is his last name. Forgive me, I'm blanking on his first name now that the camera's rolling. And that one kind of hit a little bit more personal because people that we all look up to on the left knew this man personally. People like Max Blumenthal, Katie Halper, and Aaron Matei. So, this is more than Hamas. This is an attack on the culture of Gaza. They're attacking their cultural leaders. They're attacking the institutions. And the things that people in Gaza rely upon. Okay, you can say it's like what America did to the black community. It's what America did to the Native American community. You tear apart their culture and the institutions that they rely upon. It makes their communities easier to destroy, pretty much. And it's sad to watch what's happening to the Gazans. More journalists have died in the past 2 months than have died in Vietnam. After the ceasefire ended, 700 people lost their lives in 24 hours. We know that many more have continued to lose their lives. Please, guys, don't stop speaking up on this. Don't stop protesting. Don't stop liking and sharing everybody on the internet who is posting videos and echoing this message. So let's cut it off there, guys. I don't know what else to say. Every story on this is just heartbreaking. So with that being said, like, comment, share, and subscribe, everybody. I do a live stream for Revolutionary Blackout, the Long Beach chapter, every Sunday at 8 p.m. Central. It's called Beyond the Arc Politics. I have a co-host that I do it with. Go check it out. yeah, and with that being said, take it easy, guys. Later.